America's 52 Stories, with life lessons for personal growth.
Alfred Iverson was a commander who was not popular with his troops because of his inflexible command style. In one battle, he was seen going to the rear for the alleged purpose of finding reinforcements, but the interpretation of his movements was one of cowardice. He had prepared the groundwork for future resentment that simmered for months. It came to a boil at Gettysburg. He was one of the most emotionally affected commanders on the battlefield that day, not to mention the most cowardly. He sent his force across this field without a twinge of conscience about not leading them, without giving them the direction they needed, or the encouragement they deserved. The full extent of his courage and leadership rested in the last words he gave his men. "Give 'em hell!" Instead of giving hell, they got hell. Some 500 of his men were ambushed and massacred within minutes. One survivor from the second rank of formation remarked that he was sprayed by the brains of the first rank. It was an instantaneous slaughter, unprecedented in the war. A bitter private later wrote that Iverson was drunk and a coward besides, was off hiding somewhere. Watching from a safe distance, Iverson became entirely unglued at the sight, especially when wounded troops on the ground were waving handkerchiefs or hats in surrender. Iverson's first thought of the massacre was the cruelest judgment of his own men. "I characterized the surrender as disgraceful," but his men were ambushed and had no time to put up a fight. Perhaps pretending to be embarrassed by making such a demoralizing comment, his hypocrisy went on full display when he declared that his men fought nobly. Instead of reforming what was left of his unit and taking full blame for what had happened, this most cowardly commander of the battle, Alfred Iverson, became the Pontius Pilate of Gettysburg, washing his hands of a distasteful responsibility by handing over command to a subordinate officer. You can't delegate all responsibility. There can be no shortcuts to success, no untested assumptions, no hands-off approaches, no ignoring of possible problems, and no hiding from your responsibilities. You can't delegate total responsibility. You must assume it all. If you think you can fake it until you make it, everyone will rightfully conclude that you will fail. As Iverson demonstrated, negative leadership produces negative results. Be accessible. Without your involvement, without being available for advice, without constantly communicating what needs to be done, you can't expect success. You cannot expect your business to succeed if your employees can't contact you. You can't be a successful teacher if your students can't question you. You can't expect to be a successful parent if your children cannot speak to you. Always be accessible. Right now, every student has the right to be thinking, what do I do with this information? Let's start by asking these questions, and you can provide your own answers.